Hey guys, so I've had some people reach out about getting into the business, getting into real estate, trying to make some moves, right? And I noticed a common theme with some of those folks that I talked to, most of them in their 20s, and I noticed some theme, and I noticed some things that I remember some of the mistakes that I made when I was in my 20s. So I compiled this list of 12 money mistakes that people in general make. So it's not really just for people in their 20s or 30s, but it's or even in their 40s for that matter. But 12 mistakes that people make. Number one, they make the mistake of overspending on status, meaning they're going out, they get in a fancy car, they are doing all of the crazy things that they're doing, spending money on just to keep up with the Joneses, if they use that old term, right? Where you're just trying to show off. There's no joy in just showing off, honestly. It's short term and get you into a lot of trouble by overspending on things you don't really need. Number two, they don't take jobs to learn, just to earn. You know, it's one thing about this business is that going to work for someone and learning the business, even if you're working for free, just to be around those people, it is absolutely huge. I've spoken to young guys and girls that they just don't want to do it, period. As soon as you say, oh my God, work for free, are you kidding? I would never do that. But you're missing the point. If you're able to learn from someone else, be around the other person and learn from them, be around some of the people that they're talking to, and you get exposed to those people as well. It gets you into the circle. If you want to get into this business, you got to get into the circle. It's very, very hard to do. And by taking jobs to learn from those people, they're going to teach you for free. And you're going to learn how to do whatever it is you want to do. Absolutely huge, totally underestimated. That is how things were before the industrial age, previous to the information age where we are right now. This is how knowledge is transferred through mentoring, right? Through coaching. That's how it was done previously, okay? Number three, you have to decide how much money you invest before you spend it. So there's, unfortunately, the school system has let us down. No surprise, right? The school system churn out soldiers and they churn out workers. Nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is that if you're able to consider how much money you're going to invest before you spend it. You have to keep in mind, you have to sock some cash away, and this is a big thing that is not taught to us in school. Okay. Number four, don't get a credit card just because you can. It's cool to get credit cards. Okay, it shows up on your credit report, and if you have enough credit, it can boost your credit score. Thing is, if you have too much credit, it puts you into a danger zone, so to speak, with the credit reporting agencies, and actually starts dropping your score down because they'll look at it as your buying power. So if you have 100 grand of credit card availability, and your income is only $20,000 a year, or $30,000 or whatever, clearly, you're at risk of overspending. So, and again, I'm just being very general here. I don't know your specific circumstance, so this is information that you can look at and research on your own too. Okay. Number five, don't buy a house or a car before you can afford it. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that people make. And unfortunately, I did the same thing too, okay? I bought the house, I bought the fancy cars, I used to do all that stuff before I came to my senses, right? And a car will at least get you the money, but it is not an asset, it's a liability. A house is a liability. Again, not really talked about. It's a liability. You don't need to have a house. An apartment works still just fine. And for people like us, you know what? You can go live in an apartment for 1 or 2 years. If you want to leave, you can just let the landlord know and leave. That's it. With a house, you're putting money into this asset or this liability. To look at it that way, you have to maintain it. You got to cut the lawn, shovel the snow, fix the roof, paint it, all the other stuff that comes with it. And the bank gets to enjoy all the appreciation that you're putting into it. So, it's, again, there's a whole separate video for that, so you should definitely check that out. Number six, trying to keep up with your peers financially. This is kind of like what I said before, keeping up with the Joneses. Again, nothing wrong with socking away your cash and saving it up for doing a deal. That's ultimately how you're going to win the race of wealth, right? Number seven is a big one. Don't neglect your health or relationships for financial gain. This is absolutely huge, right? Because again, this is something I did. I did not focus on building my health. I was so focused on making money. I was a complete disaster years ago, right? Very overweight, and fortunately I never smoked, never did drugs or anything else like that, but I was very, very overweight, and I was just focused on the wrong things. So Now, health is absolutely focused right now because I know that if I'm in my best health that I could possibly be in, I can perform and hit my financial goals. It's a really big part of seeing success. Same thing goes for relationships too. If you're having a bad relationship or you're in a bad relationship, it's going to impact you mentally. And we have glycogen in our brain, it's like fuel. And if you're using your mental fuel to process bad information, like bad relationships, what aren't you using it for then? You're not using it to buy your next deal, to build income. You're not using it for that. Now you're using it to deal with some of the nonsense in a bad relationship. So again, and that relationship, by the way, could be good or bad too. If it's a bad one, you need to get out of it. Again, separate topic. That's it. So let's keep going here. So number 8, ignoring long-term planning. This is very easy to get into, right? Again, when I was working in corporate years ago, I was just focused on the next paycheck, right? People usually live, every on 2-week cycles. They sock a little bit of money away, just keep on going, day in, day out, month in, month out, year in, year out. And that's not really a good formula for long-term success, if that's what you want. And again, I'm not poo-pooing the whole corporate life. All I'm saying is that if you really want to have long-term success, it really needs to be thought out and planned appropriately. It doesn't happen by accident. It never happens by accident, okay? Number 9, making financial decisions out of fear or desperation. Again, whenever anything is done under duress, meaning you're forced to do it, very rarely do good things come out of it. It just doesn't, right? So never make a decision out of fear, desperation. I don't know, I'm just gonna go ahead and sign. Don't ever do that. It's just not good, okay? Number 10, being complacent about financial education. This is absolutely huge. You know, people, and I think part of this, again, is the school system. Sounds like I'm unloading on the school system today, but back in school, we were told to read these books that none of us liked, myself included, or maybe you did like it, I don't know, right? But the thing is that many of the, it was almost seen as punishment. So usually after people finish college, they don't touch a book ever again for years, right? Sometimes, not all the time, it's not the rule, right? But it's absolutely critical to continue your financial education and really learn and understand some of the great things that are out there to help you build personal wealth, and also get the right mentoring, get into the right groups that you need to be successful as well, okay? Number 11, they're afraid to ask for financial advice. And again, this is one of those things that, listen, I'm glad you're here listening to this. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. And if you did, by the way, please hit that like button, share this with your friends, greatly appreciate it. But at any rate, asking for advice from people that know more than you, asking for advice from people that are 10, 15, 20 years ahead of you about what to do and how to do certain things, even if it points you in the right direction, it can make some big changes in your life. That's what happened to me, by the way. I mean, I asked for advice from a syndication attorney, and he's the one that told me about syndication and funds and how it was to get into it. I was under the impression that it was virtually impossible to get in. It was only for the Wall Street guys only, and it really isn't. It really is not. It's not true. And I didn't know that. And by asking that one simple question put me on a whole different journey that I could never have thought possible. So the same thing could happen to you. Don't be afraid, okay? And number 12, don't let your ego dictate your financial decisions. This is one of those things that if you let pride get in the way of doing something, it doesn't have to be financial either. It could be anything. It could really harm you. It's similar to making decisions out of fear. You know, ego is one of those things too that you should never let ego get in the way. Anyway, those are my 12 things that I want to share with you today on this snowy December here. If you like what you saw, go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know let me know if I missed anything. Right. The one thing I want to harp on though: invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. None of this stuff happens by accident. Like I said, I used to be a corporate guy. I did not have a good time in corporate. I was just not for the corporate type. I just wasn't. I also knew that it was no real means to get to where I wanted to be financially. That's why I quit and started doing real estate. And later on, I'm going to shoot a video on another deal we just closed. Not the Westgate one, which we closed last week. That's the new one. We just closed yesterday. So very excited about that. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, if you like the message, please share it. Love the comment. I would appreciate it. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.